Today is Friday, April 24th, 2020. So, get excited, since it's time for another FAX. Today's FAX is from Trey, a student who prides himself on always being the first one to get to class. Trey wants to know, Dear Chef, Hi Mr. Floyd, how are Mr. Mink and the Candy Bear doing? I miss seeing all of you in class. I have a whole bunch of questions that I want you to answer. I want to know how much knowledge you can take in at a given time, if neurons have a limited capacity to function in some types of organisms, and if a dog could get smallpox. Please let me know. Oh, and last but not least, could you please post more scientific outdoor videos that have to do with marine life and related animals? Thanks. Those are some awesome questions and some great ideas for future Name That Species videos. That FAX question was candy-worthy, if you ask me. What do you think, Mr. Mink?
I agree. Now let's answer that scientific question.
To answer this question, let's first review how we even learn. Recall that your brain is filled with nerve cells, also called neurons, that have special structures designed to allow them to transmit electrical signals throughout your body. These electrical signals, called impulses, travel from neuron to neuron via junctions called synapses, and the electrical information they transmit is delivered to the many different cells of your body. Your cells then receive these impulses as messages, which then alert them to respond at the cellular level by doing or contributing to whatever the message asks. There are trillions of nerve cells in your brain and body, and thus trillions of synapses connecting them to deliver messages. Every time you learn something new, a synapse is either strengthened or created between nerve cells. To thus answer the first part of today's FAX question, which is how much knowledge can you take in at a given time, the answer is dependent on multiple factors, such as how good you are at learning, aka how developed your brain, nerve cells, and the synapses already are at communicating new information to each other, how much prior information, aka existing synapses you already have, related to what you were trying to learn, and how much work you put in to learning something new, aka how much you are abiding by the old adage, practice makes perfect. The more you practice what it is you want to learn, the faster and more you can learn from it, since the nerve cells in your brain will have had more successful synaptic connections and will have thus grown stronger. Note that your nerve cells are still cells though, and they need glucose to make ATP just like any other cell, so they can become fatigued. Sleep is a great way to deal with this though, and it is thought that sleep is when your memories strengthen and develop. I suppose this also answers your second question, which was, do neurons have a limited capacity to function in some types of organisms? The basic design of the neuron is the same for all types of animals that have a nervous system. Neurons in all animals thus have a similar capacity to transmit information, but they could possibly become tired quicker in organisms that have problems obtaining glucose to thus make the ATP to power their cells. Note as well that complexity in the nervous system, and thus the intelligence, aka complexity of thought, when dealing with higher level organisms, is a byproduct of even more complex factors. The number of nerve cells and synaptic connections are related to this, albeit not always directly. Intelligence in animals is thus not due to unique types of nerve cells, but instead due to factors such as the total number of nerve cells, the number of synaptic connections, the complexity of the synaptic connections, and even more advanced physiological factors. Dogs are a type of animal that is quite intelligent, and this brings me to answering your final question of whether or not dogs can get the terrible pox-filled virus known as smallpox. Smallpox, which is due to the smallpox virus, also known as the variola virus, is a viral condition. Viruses tend to be species-specific, though, in that they only infect certain species. Viruses can leap from one species to another in a process called cross-species transmission, or more specifically, zoonosis, when this occurs from a non-human animal to a human. The smallpox virus only infects humans when found in nature, though. It has been shown to infect primates in a laboratory setting, but this is unsurprising since there are several other similar viruses in the orthopoxvirus genus that naturally infect animals, such as the vaccinia, cowpox, and monkeypox viruses. There is thankfully no dogpox virus, though, something that makes my own dog George very happy to hear. Well, Trey, I hope that helps answer your scientific questions. If you have a scientific question that you want to get answered by the chef
Or Chef Floyardee.
please write it in the comments below, and maybe you'll be the lucky person randomly picked to get your question answered for next time's FAX. Please subscribe to ChaseFloydInc as well, and turn on notifications so you'll be able to see the next FAX video when it's released. With that being said, as always, we work
Bell to bell.
in Mr. Floyd's class, even during crazy times like these. So, I hope you learned a lot today, and I will see you all next time for another awesome edition of FAX with Chef Floyardee.
And Chef Floyardee.